Hi guys, how are y'all this afternoon? Good to see you again, second time today. Hopefully you got to watch the first show today. I did a quick clothes change because I was hot. It's a little warm up in my room today. Must be sunny out. Wouldn't know, I haven't actually looked outside. So give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're here. Hi, good to see you, Robin. So today we're going to explore a little bit more with Power Pack 2, and I'm going to show you some of the things that you can do in artwork mode, basically in PE Design as well, just so you can kind of understand that when you create something in PE Design, it is actually artwork. So you can work that way there as well. So we're going to play a little bit and just kind of give you some ideas of what Power Pack 2 gives you that Canvas Workspace does not, since we didn't get to. First show was amazing. Oh, good. Glad you enjoyed that today. That was fun. That's one of my organizational things I'm trying to get done today. Or this week. All right, guys. So let's get started here. And good to see you guys. Let us know. Glad you all are in here running around. I hope everybody's good. Some of you, I'm sure, have gotten vaccines by now. The others of us are not on that list yet, so it'll be a little while yet. Too young. But hopefully my dad will get on the list soon. Who knows? Who can say? So, oh, hi, Kathleen. You're in here from Scotland today. So we must be at a good time for you guys over there. You've already ordered your snap bracelets. I was going to tell you, I will put you all a link on my website next to the artwork for the snap bracelets. If you'll order them through my link, I get a little bit of, it doesn't cost you anything extra, but I do get a little bit of excitement off of that. Not a lot, but a little bit. So I'll put a link up there after we're done with this class. Hi, Wanda. Good to see you. Hope you're enjoying your 10 needle. Wanda has my old 10 needle in her home. So she is getting to play with, it was Bubba in my house, but she's renamed her. So Bubba has had a sex change. You know, it's kind of one of those things. She's a she, or he's now a she over in her house. So glad you enjoyed the snap bracelets. Those are actually quite fun. So, all right, guys, let's start talking about Power Pack 2 artwork mode. And that's in BES4. That's where we're going to start today. Okay, and I'm trying out new glasses today. They look just like my old ones, but they are actually new glasses. And so if I look weird, don't think anything of it. It's just a matter of I'm trying to figure out where I actually can see. Oops, I didn't mean to stop sharing. I meant to hide the share screen. So let's see here. All right, hide that little button there. All right. So in Power Pack 2, we actually have add designs and you have artwork designs, but just because it's built in doesn't mean that's the only thing that you can use in here. I'm going to use these because they're here, they're available for me, and they're easy to access. But if you pulled something off your scan and cut, you could use that as well. If you image trace something, you could use that as well. It's just a matter of how you want to do it yourself. Let's do something pet wise today. So let's say we wanted to make a wrap for our dog bowl. And here's the design. I don't think I want the circles around the outside edge though. So in my sequence view window, I can grab those two circles and then press delete, and those are gone. So now all I have is my little paw print. And my little paw print is about 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches, somewhere close to that. Not huge, not small, but it's a good size. So if I measured around my dog bowl, let's say my dog bowl is, it would have been nice if I brought a dog bowl up here now, wouldn't it? We'll say it's 12 inches around. So I can go to my Tools tab. All of the arrangement tools that I have for embroidery are available for me in artwork mode as well. So if I choose arrange, and let's say I want to arrange this on a row because I want it to go all the way around and wrap it. So if I choose arrange on rows and I say I only want one row, that's all I want. I can flip every other one horizontally. And let's say I want to increase the horizontal distance to where they're spaced out a little bit further apart. And then let's increase till we get the number down here at the bottom. The output size is what we're looking at. And we want it to be about 12. So I've got 12.79. Well, that means I can decrease the space between my items because I'm trying to make it 12. So 11.95 is pretty good. There's 12.01. I think that'll work. So when you touch apply, it's ready to go, and you can click OK, and there you've got your dog wrap made. So that could go around a dog bowl. If you use, depending on what type of adhesive vinyl you use, whether you use permanent or craft. Craft is the kind that you would stick on your wall because you want it to be able to come off later. Your more permanents are going to be your oracals, things like that. The Caesar, there's some Caesar permanent. It just depends on what you're trying to do. And you're not going to put this in the wash unless you coat it with something because it will come off. There is a product out there called Bling Anything or something like that. I can't remember what it is. Heat transfer anything to where you can make a transfer out of anything and it makes it permanent. So you could do that. But even with those, dishwasher safe is different than others. And I consider vinyl, when I'm putting it on anything that's going to be washed, I consider it just, it's not going to be permanent. It'll be permanent for a while and then it's going to go away, just simply because the glue with water and what's that stuff you clean with soap will kind of it will kind of make things dissolve. So that glue just doesn't stay there. So I consider it my opportunity when it's gone away, my opportunity to redecorate. So nothing is ever permanent in my world when it comes to adhesive vinyls. So that is one way that you could use that. Now with that one, you wouldn't need registration marks because it is all the same color. So you're not layering anything. You can do, that one's just a simple wrap and it would be very easy to put on. You would use your transfer tape around it and you're ready to go. Now let's take that design and let's do something else with it. So let's get back to where we have one. So let me go to my undo button. And here's my little guy. What if I want to make a sign to go over my princess's dog bowl? I have a range on rows. I have a range on a path, but I have scatter. Scatter is a fun one. When you choose scatter, you can choose how big you want your output size to be. So let's say I'm going to put this on a shadow box, and I'm going to put Princess's picture behind it. You can come in and make it, let's say we want to make it 11 because our shadow box is going to be 12 inches. When I click apply, you'll notice that it scatters those designs around it. You can, since this is not embroidery, you can make it any minimum and any maximum scale you want because it doesn't have to recalculate stitches. So you can make your minimum, let's say we want it to be 50 and our maximum we want it to be 200. We can apply. You can say you want your minimum spacing to be, you want it to be tighter or looser. And you can just click, keep applying. Each time you do it, it's going to give you a different arrangement. When you find something you like, you better click OK. You can always come back in and do it again. But if you don't click OK, it may be 2 years down the road before you see that same arrangement again. And when you're done, you're just going to click OK. So I'm going to see if I find one that I wish I had kept that last one because I liked it. This one will work. We'll say OK. Now, let's say I want to put Princess's name in here. Well, that's doable too. Let's come in and look at our paw prints. We can ungroup, and that's going to be the easiest way to do this is ungroup it first, and then draw around the pieces that you don't want and press delete on the keyboard. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to delete a few paw prints. And then I'm going to group it all back together. So there we go. I'm going to come and grab the whole kit caboodle, and we're going to group it back together so that I don't mess up my arrangement. Now let's go to our home tab and we'll add text. We're going to use artwork mode. So with artwork mode, remember, any of your fonts are available, or not all of your fonts, but your true type fonts. And when you choose artwork mode, let's go over here and choose artwork mode from our pull down, because that will show us what we have available in our regular fonts that are available for artwork mode. If I apply, and we can choose font category, artwork. And this is going to show us the ones that we can use in artwork mode. So daily was definitely one. You could do the December, you could do doodle. Doodle's kind of fun. And you can change the color of it, of course, and move it where you want it to go. And you can rotate that. You can make it bigger and smaller. There are no limitations to size with artwork mode. Just keep that in mind. Now, I'm not crazy about doodle, so let's go to true type fonts and see what we see. And if you use your up and down arrow keys, it lets you see what your font is going to look like. Oh, I liked that one. Let's try Belmonte. There, oh no, that's too prissy. And yes, that's a word. Let's see here. There we go. I kind of like that one. Now, I'm going to click on my select tool, and I'm going to just shrink that in. Now, if you want, you could add envelope text to this. So you could say, I want to double concave it. You can sit there and play. And remember, there are little circles at the top that allow you to change that arc. And you can play with whatever you want to. So I'm going to come back up here and see if I can answer some questions. So Tina, this is not an embroidery machine today. We're using BES4 with our cutting machine today. So BES4 has a power pack called Power Pack 2 that's all about artwork. So I'm working in artwork mode today to show you some of the tools that you don't have in Canvas Workspace that you do have with Power Pack 2. Okay, so that is one of those fun things that you can do. Scatter, arrange on rows. Now I'll show you arrange on a path, and we'll talk about arrange on corners as well. So let's go back over here. Any questions on that? All right, let's see here. Let's just go new. And let's add a design. We'll do the same one. Where's my little paw print? And delete. So I'm back down to my single paw print. You have, go back to your tools tab, and you have the arrange button. You have arrange on a corner, and you can spread those apart both horizontally and vertically. And you could put your pet's name right in the middle of that. So that's another option. When you click OK, you have perfect corners. That kind of looks cool. And you have arrange on a circle. And if you, on this one, if you change your angle to where you can choose how many you want to go around. And as you play with your angle, it changes the look of things. You can change the offset angle, which changes the look of things. And you can change the angle of the designs themselves to where all of the paw prints can go inward or all of the paw prints can go outwards. And once you've got it, so we're about to get them all the way outwards. There we go. And that doesn't really it doesn't totally look like paw prints anymore. If you go in, you can increase how many you want in there. You have the control. If you choose reflect, they're all going to go the opposite direction. So you can just play with that and have fun and click OK. And it works the same way in embroidery mode. So you could then come in and put a monogram in the middle of that if you want to. If you go to your Home tab, choose the text tool and choose your monogram text tool. But monogram text is, we have two fonts available. Let's put Princess Hogan Sophia. There we go. You have two monogram fonts that are not stitch mode, that are artwork mode. So, and those are Rounded Monogram something, Rounded Modern Monogram, and Modern Angles Artwork. So where is that one? Modern Angles Monogrammed. Oh, no, wait a minute. It's artwork. Where did that little guy go? Let's change font category, artwork. Nope, not going to let me have it. I'll have to get back to y'all on that one. I don't remember which one exactly it is. My brain did not memorize that one today. But the Rounded Modern Monogram is the artwork one that I can quickly pick up on my head. I swear I thought it was Modern Angles, but it's not. So I'll come back to that. I'll put a note in our thing and let you know which one it is. Okay. So let's get rid of this guy and let's come back in and grab a shape. Actually, let's do this one. And select our little key and go to our Tools tab. You've got Arrange on Path as well. So Arrange on Path arranges the design that you have along a path. Now, the path dimensions are right here, and it's showing you what the output is down here. So if your path dimensions, if you want to make it bigger, you can make it bigger. Let's cancel this out and make our key a little bit smaller because that's a pretty big design. So let's make our key, yeah, there we go. And let's rotate it a little bit. And now let's go back to Arrange on a Path. These are your paths that you can select from. Any of the paths are available. So if you wanted it on a swirly path, you can put it on a swirly path. You can space them further apart. You can reflect them to where they go opposite. You can go alter, where one's up, one's down. They can all be on the bottom. They can all be on the top. If they're along the center of the path, spiral path is probably not our best friend for this particular one, but you might do curved and put them on the top. You can increase those dimensions or decrease the dimensions. Let's apply that. And now they're spaced evenly across. When you're done, click OK. And you've got your keys across the top, a totally different look. Now, Jan, you can't change intertwined monogram into artwork mode, unfortunately. That's not going to let us do that. All right, so those are some of the other things that we can do in artwork mode in BES4 that you don't have in Canvas Workspace. That's one of the nice things those arrangement tools are super handy. All right, now let's see here. What else do we have? Let's go to PE Design, and we'll talk about artwork mode in PE Design because everything is actually artwork in PE Design. And unless it's something that you brought in from someplace else, it is artwork mode. So let's share this screen here. All right. So if I grab my shape tool, any of these shapes are available. Plus you have in your import menu, if you go over here to outline shapes, you have different categories of shapes that you can choose. There are events. So quite a few things in here. You have fashion. You have florals. You have foods. So pick anything. Let's say we wanted pineapples today. In P design. You have arrange copy. So arrange copy, you have vertical mirror copy, which will get you a complete vertical mirror, and wherever you left click that center mark is where it's going to drop the second copy. It will be evenly spaced across. So when I click on that and I say merge my overlapping shapes, I actually didn't want to do that. So we're going to undo, merge my overlapping shapes, merged my green with my yellow, and I didn't want to do that. So we're going to click and we're going to say no on the merge overlapping shapes this time. So I have a perfect copy of that. Now, if I want this to go to my scan and cut, I go to the scan and cut tab and choose export. Take everything down to the end and take off the check mark of create one around the outside edge only. You will notice it grabs only around the outside though. So if I want my pineapple tops and my pineapple bottoms separately, I need to select those. I can come in, grab my yellows in my sewing order window and select them, and then go to my scan and cut tab. I may have to ungroup. Nope, there we go. Now I only have the yellow parts. Make sure that offset spacing's all the way down to 0, and then you can send that to your canvas. So if you send it to Canvas Workspace, it's going to make a dive there, and maybe it's going to make me log in today. There we go. So now it's been sent to Canvas Workspace. If I want to send it to my connected machine as well, I can say, yes, send the data to my scan and cut as well. It's ready, and the yellow parts are going to be there for me to cut. So I would need to make sure that I go over to the scan and cut and grab those. Now, once I've got those cut, I can come in and grab my greens in my sewing order window, click on my Select Patterns tool, and do the exact same thing. Click on my Scan and Cut button, choose Export, change the offset spacing all the way down to 0, and send that to Canvas Workspace. Now, like I said, you would want to make sure you had already cut the other one before you press yes on this button right here, because if you don't, it's going to overwrite the previous one. Okay? And now it's going to tell me it's there. We can close this window and go cut things out if we wanted to. All right, so let's get rid of that one and come back and go back to our Home tab. I have a horizontal mirror copy, which is going to take that same thing and go downward. We're not going to do that because I think you guys can understand that one. 4-way mirror copy is going to do a 4-directional mirror copy. Left click when it's where you want it to go, and we don't want to merge the overlapping shapes or we'll have just one big old pineapple. So that gives you your 4 corners. And then you have matrix copy. So if you wanted to do a lot of one pattern, you could do your matrix copy. And you'll notice it's color sorting these for me in my sewing order window. This gives me a full page of these, and I could embroider these as well, or I could cut them out on my scan and cut. It all depends on what you want to do. The only limitations are what you want to do. Okay? Now, we do not have the arrange on circles. We do have circle copy. We do not have the scatter tool though. So let me grab my pineapple. We do have arrange on a circle. So if I choose arrange copy, circle copy tool, this allows me to drag and draw a circle the size I want my oval to be. And then as I rotate, my pineapples change orientation. You can increase the spacing between them, or you can tell it an exact number that you'd like to have. So right now I've got 6. Let's say I want 8 of those. When I left click, those will be set. We don't want to overlap the shapes for this one. And I'm going to do Control M to move it to the middle. Once again, if I want to send these to my scan and cut, I can come grab all of my yellows at one time, hold my select tool down, or click on my select tool, touch my scan and cut button and export. And then all of my little circles are there. I would take my offset spacing all the way down. But if you wanted a bigger one, you could make it bigger. It's up to you, okay? Let me come back up here and see if there's any questions. So that is really, I mean, you could then come in and you can type in any text that you want. It doesn't matter whether it's a true type font or a built-in font. I guess I should show you that because it can be done in artwork mode. You would just do it a little differently. I don't see any questions, Fran. It must be on your end. I don't see anybody else complaining of blurriness today. So I don't think it's my stream, but I won't swear to that. I'm plugged in, so it shouldn't be. All right, let's come back over here. So if I wanted to add text in the middle of this, grab my text tool. You can choose normal text, small text, or monogram text. We're going to go with this one. And I'm just going to type in Cindy here. What font have I? Oh, I've got circle mon. Oh, all right. So I'll put in my initials. I actually have a true type font that is circle monogram. And if I do, let's see here, CLH. Oh, I actually have to pick the different ones. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to type in Cindy. And I'll pick a different font. So I'm going to select my font that I've got there, come up to my text tool, because that is the middle initial in that particular font. I'd have to go change each letter, and I'm not into the mode of that today. And let's say we wanted to go with this one. I have no idea what this looks like. Let's make it a little bit bigger. There we go. Now, I'm going to go to my Scan and Cut tab. Since I've got my text selected, I'm going to click Export. I would take everything off and take that check mark off. Notice what that did. That took that center, that gave me those centers. Now, that is small text, so it's not picking up that tiny spot there. So let's make my text a little bit bigger. Or let's pick a different font. Let's try a different one. You'll see a difference when I do just block lettering versus cursive lettering. Depending on what you're doing, you may need to space things a little further apart. If I had to space the other one apart, we could have used it. But since I didn't want to, we can now go to our Scan and Cut tab and try Export again. Slide it all the way down. Take that check mark off. My I dot is still too small. And that is a function of how small it can let you do it for the Scan and Cut. So one more time. Does not like that particular I. I'll just go this route. And since there's no holes in that one, you're ready to save the FCM file or send it to Canvas Workspace. Okay. So I'm going to close this out, and that's how you get artwork from P Design to the Scan and Cut, regardless of what it is. Now, that would give you a way to match your embroidery to your Scan and Cut file. So you could make a coordinating set. You could have something in embroidery, something in heat transfer vinyl, something in embroidery, something in adhesive vinyl, depending on what you want to do. Anything you draw, you can send it back out. You may need to make it bigger depending on what it is. One thing I will tell you is if you have your bigger hoops selected, anything bigger than the 10-inch, than the 11.5-inch hoop, 11 3/4 is going to tell you need to change your size, because Canvas Workspace only receives a 12-inch space. So a 12 by 12 is what it's going to kind of tap you out at. So if you have your 10 5/8 by 16-inch hoop, you're going to get an error message saying that if you filled that whole space up, saying that you can't send that. So just kind of keep that in mind. That's the limit on Canvas Workspace transferring. All right. Let me think. Now, the other thing I was going to do is we have somebody up here that has a new embroidery machine. What did she tell me she just got? Ba-dum-bum-bum. For the embroiderer, what machine do I would get what you can get the most bang for your buck, okay? The biggest hoop size that you can get based on your budget, because you're going to get hoop envy. That's really that is the key thing, and where you can get support. Learning embroidery, I mean, granted, there's a lot of shows that we do that will walk you through many things, but you do want to have that dealer support, in my opinion. I would not buy something smaller than a 5x7 if I really thought I was going to get into this. Having said that, however, if you buy a little 4x4 machine and you find that you've outgrown it, they still make, especially if you get a little combo machine, they make great travel machines. The little Essies make great travel machines for sewing and embroidery combos. And it really depends on your budget. There's so many different factors involved in that. I personally, my line of demarcation is my combo machine must have the pivot function on it. So what that means is when I stop, my needle stops down and my foot raises so I can turn my project. That is where my personal line of demarcation is. I would want to get something that has editing on it. The 4x4 machines do not have editing. That keeps you out of software for a while. It allows you to combine things on your machine itself. The most common size that we embroider is a 4x4 chest embroidery. That is the most common. And that's what I started with. I mean, but that's the only thing they had at that time. Most of the time I advise people a 5x7 or above. So kind of look into that. I personally, as you know, I'm a Brother brand ambassador, but I love the Brother machines. They are easier to use than most of the other brands. There's numbers for everything. There's tutorials built in. There are videos all over the internet for us for the different machines and how to hoop things. It's a wonderful little community. So it really depends on what you want to do. So, I mean, I personally would say get the most bang for your buck. Get the most hoop size that you can get, just simply because if you enjoy it, you tend to outgrow it. You tend to outgrow it fast. A 4x4 tends to last about 6 months if you love it. So, because it's the hoop envy thing. Bigger is always better because you want to do bigger things. You see what your neighbor is doing and what project they're doing, and you want to do that. So I try to give you that. There are so many machines out there. If I were there with you and showing you a machine, we could look and see what features you want on a machine to be able to help you a little bit more. So if you want to contact me, I can help you kind of narrow down what features you want, and then you can go look towards that. Now, Canvas Workspace, the things that I'm showing you today cannot be done on Canvas Workspace. That's why I was showing you. So these are two embroidery programs. PE Design is our full digitizing program. BES4 is our customizing and lettering program. They both have some different tools in them that Canvas Workspace does not have. And BES4, I was using Power Pack 2. So that gave me artwork tools. Yeah, and you'll see here, everybody says, get the one with largest features that fit your budget. So yeah, and I mean, you want to get what you can get if you think you're going to enjoy it. Tammy loves her little SE 1900. That's a nice little machine. So let's see here. Yes, there are additional shapes available in Power Pack 2. Let me see here. Where am I? Yeah, there's a lot of in the hoop designs for beginners, but you do need, usually it's going to be a 5x7 or larger for in the hoop designs. No, the LED drop light is built into the 670, so it is not an add-on feature that you can add to your 650, unfortunately. Okay, guys. I'm going to show another product that I have ignored pretty much that is good for beginners. Okay. This is for that customer that has that 5x7 hoop or less, because that's what it saves in and that's what it recognizes. But it allows you to combine designs on a larger screen than your little embroidery machine, and it allows you to do more. So this one is not interactive with the scan and cut, but it is a nice little sweet program that's pretty easy to use. It is called Initial Stitch. So for my beginners that aren't sure that they want to spend a whole lot of money, Initial Stitch is a great option. Simply Applique is another great option. So if you think you want Applique, I would go with Simply Applique, because Initial Stitch does not interact with the scan and cut, but it does have some nice little features in it. So this one has your normal text tool, the circle text tool, and the monogram text tool. And it does have the nice monograms that we have in BES4. It is very similar to BES4 in how it operates. It just does not have all the same tools, okay? So if I click on my normal text tool, I can click on my design page, and then I can type in my text. When I left click away from it, it's set, my text is set. There are, trying to think, about 11, no, I can't remember exactly how many. Let's count. 1, 2, 3. There's 25 fonts in here. A couple of them are applique fonts. When you select one, you click apply, and it automatically applies it. Now, one of the nice things about it is when you click on the question mark, it tells you how big and how small for a satin stitch that you can make that font. Now, the key word that I just said was for a satin stitch. So if I make this bigger and I get an error message saying it's too large, I need to pay attention to that, but that doesn't mean I can't use this. So I'm going to let you see what happens. And actually, I'm too big for my biggest hoop, so I need to bring it in a little bit anyhow. But it's still too big for a satin stitch. So if I want to use this, let's look at it in realistic view, which is my Draw 3D. You'll notice how those stitches in the corner kind of look funky. That's kind of giving you your big clue that, hey, Will Robinson, this is probably not the best idea. Down here where it says pattern, you have different patterns of stitches that you can put in there. So if I change, let's change the color so you can see this. And you can look at it in 3D. That actually will change that stitch type to where you can use that font even though you are not using a satin stitch. So if you get that error message, you need to make sure, and this is both in BES4, in Simply Applique, and in Initial Stitch, pay attention to that message. What it's telling you is to change the pattern type. You could also change it from well, not in this program. In this program, you have patterns built in that you can change. That's the only option that you have in order to change it. Now, this does have a fit to hoop button so that it will automatically fit it to the hoop that you're in, and it will resize the pattern to fit it in there. It allows you, it has different frames that you can add. These are our monogram frames. So if I go add design, the frames that are in here are monogram frames. That's the only category that you have. These are the ones that are available. When you click on it, you left click and it inserts the pattern at the size that it was created. You can make them bigger, you can make them smaller, but if you get that message, you're going to need to change the stitch type, and this is not going to let you do that. For BES4 will let me change the stitch type of my patterns here. Initial Stitch will not. So if you get a message that your stitches are too long, you need to not have it that large. I'm going to give it a second to do its little thinking here. We're a little slow today. You have alignment tools. So I'm going to make my happy a little bit smaller and move it back into the middle here. If I want to select it all, I can go select all. Go to my Arrange tab and choose horizontal center and vertical center. And then I am visually centered. Now, excuse me, mathematically centered. Mathematical is not the same as visual center. So for me, that's not in the center. I would hold my control key down and my arrow and move it over to the right a little bit so it's in my to where it looks right to me visually as opposed to mathematically. Computers can only do mathematical. You have to eyeball it. I like that look better. So that gives you that idea. You also have flip horizontal and you have flip vertical. So if you wanted to flip things, you can flip them. You have your rotate left, rotate right, and you can rotate things by angles. And you can add a basting stitch. So a basting stitch really is a huge bonus in this program because most of the lower end machines that this one will work with, actually all of them, none of them have a built-in basting stitch, and a basting stitch is a hugely beneficial item. You can merge designs here. So if you go up to your eye, which is the application button, you can choose merge. And let's see here. Let me find something. Let's see here. I love these little accent designs. They are so easy to use. So I can come in here and I can merge a design and then I can add my text to it. I can add a monogram. So if I wanted to do monogram text, the favorite monograms are built into this software. Modern Angles, Abigail, Decor, 12, Fancy Runs, and Intertwined. So the 5 favorites are built into the software. And if it says Decor, that means it has a circle decoration that can go around it. When you select it, click Apply. It'll automatically apply. If you come down, Fancy Runs, the bigger the better on those. Intertwined is going to intertwine them together. And then Modern Angles is your more masculine look. And Modern Angles, even though it doesn't say decor, it does have decors for it. Just so you know, that's one of those that kind of a hidden item. You can also do circle text. And apply your font. And there is one last little bit that I'd like to show you that you can do here with this one. So let's put that down there. We can apply recipes. So if I come up here to the Paste Setter button and I choose New Project, this has the recipes that all of our other BES style programs, Simply Applique BES, have in them. So these are recipes. These are great tutorials for what kind of stabilizer and what needles to use. So it gives you a description of the actual fabric that you're embroidering on. It tells you what size needle and what style needle, what type thread, and the brother stabilizer to use. You can pick other stabilizers if you want, but it does give you that capability. Great little tutorial on that. So just keep that in mind and it will automatically apply the properties for that. The only 2 hoops that this supports is a 4x4 or a 5x7 hoop. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And that's this little program. So let me go back and add a basting stitch around our design here. Auto baste it. Auto baste automatically puts it in the center of the hoop for you. And you are now ready to save this out as your PES file. Yes, BES is compatible with the SE machines. I'm going to come back up and answer some questions now. Let's see here if I can find my mouse. There we go. Okay. BES4 is compatible with the SE machines, but the wireless card will not work with it. Okay. So you would just save it out onto a USB stick in the machine format, which would be PES. The name of this program was Initial Stitch, Charlene or Diane. Okay, there we go. I don't know what happened to my camera. Oh, there we go. I hit it with my mouse. Sorry about that. If you have BES4, you do not need initial stitch. Okay. If you do not, I should be back now with sound and audio. Can you all hear me now? Let me make sure. Yes, I should have sound and audio. I hit it with my mouse. I hit my camera with my mouse and oops, knocked it out of its little socket. If you have BES4, you do not need initial stitch. It is for the lower end machines as well. So it's for your 5x7 and your 4x4. It has limited items in it. Everything that is in it is in BES4. Okay. So just keep that in mind. So if you have BES4, you have the best bells and whistles in that lineup. Okay. What designs are found in this program? The only designs that are in there are the monogram shapes. So it's just outer areas. It's not, there's not a great variety of it. It's not a high-end program. As I said, my mouse does love to play around. You're correct. Sometimes it doesn't things all on its own. I'll talk about Simply Applique next week to kind of give you all an idea about it and what it does. But just letting you know that really is the route to go. Do you have the little tutorials in BES4? Yeah, there is a, hold on. Let me show you some things that you can find in BES4 here. So if you go up to the question mark, this is where your manual is located. And you can go to contents and you can go learning about the workspace, parts of the workspace. It will walk you through everything on your workspace. There are little I wouldn't really call them tutorials, but this is how your program operates. It gives you all of what your icons are. If you have my book, Tana, which you do, I am much more in depth than this manual. Okay. But your manual is built into your program. You can go at any time and check those out. All of the programs actually have a built-in manual, regardless of which program it is. You can print them out if you want to, or you can just view them online. I tend to view it online. Yeah, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I knew you had the book, so I think you'll be a little bit. I do it in a different way. Can you do two? Yes, you certainly can. So you're wanting to say. Not two lines. You can do one at the top and one at the bottom. Is that what you're asking, Gwen? So hold on a second. Circle text. So if I come up, I'm in BES4 now. I'm going to grab Circle Text tool and I'm going to click down here. Let me turn off that comment. I'm going to click down here and we'll type in, press enter and Hogan at the bottom. And well, if we can type our own name, that would be easier, huh? So I have my circle text. I'm going to move it down. If you want to make it fit underneath that area, you can make it fit underneath that area because I'm in artwork mode. You could do it in text mode as well. I would probably make this smaller. So let's make that 1 inch instead of 1.41. There you go. So there's your 2 lines of text. If you need to adjust the spacing, you go back into that text tool and you can adjust the spacing on each line in between each letter if you want to. Because usually your lower text, you're going to want closer together than the upper text because it just spaces things out further on the lower end. What happens is when you change the space between one, it moves everything behind it as well. And then the little diamonds are what do that for you. And I would actually probably zoom in so that I can see a little bit better what I'm doing here. You could also change the spacing between all of them if you click on the Control key and grab them. We should then be able to change the spacing. Let's say we wanted to go to -1 and apply. I did it for everything. So we can't. You're going to have to do it for each individual letter to get that the way you want it to go. It's kind of an eyeball thing. I am a big believer of an external mouse You have much more control than you do if you're trying to do something on the little internal mouse. Okay. Tana, thanks so much. I'm glad you're enjoying the books. And the lettering book has a Facebook group that goes with it. Okay, so guys, I do have coupon codes for you today. Here you go. That one's for Lettering So Easy. And so it's LET4. And this one here is for the Digitizing So Easy for 10, which is what I'm selling for 11 because I haven't done an 11 book and we are not doing a complete book. We're doing a supplement. So thanks, Wanda. Glad you're enjoying the books as well. What else do we have questions about? Because I've got a few more minutes that I can answer questions for us, guys. Y'all haven't been sending me questions lately. Yes, you can go back and watch the replay, Miss Sheila. It'll be done once I finish today. It will be up there and ready for you to go. And I do apologize for the sound drop. Thanks, Charlene. I'm glad you're enjoying the books as well. Yes, stationary mouse gives good control. My husband uses the little trackball thing. This is my guy. He is my favorite. So I will put you a link for the snap bracelets on the free design page where you can actually find the artwork from today's Brother Sews Facebook Live. Hold on a second, and I'll see if I can bring that up. So what further up, Terry? I'm sorry, you lost me on that question. So let's see here. Let me go to my website. And your checkout is secure. It's just every other page is not. So if you go to free designs, if you click on this, this is the stabilizer wrap that we worked on today. Right mouse click and save the image. I will put a link to the snap bracelets underneath there for you. And as I said, I will get a little skin off that game, so I would appreciate it. It costs you nothing extra, but it does give me a little jingle change in my pocket. Yes, this morning's project could certainly be done in software rather than in on my design center. Much easier. Actually, about the same. So let's see here. If I were in PE design, let's select everything and just delete it here and go to my home tab. I would import my image. So input from file. Now let me find that image. Did I put it in my downloads? There we go. You could just open it up and you could customize them here the way you wanted it to do. Now this you would need to actually trace around because we can try auto digitizer. Let's see here. Let's change our hoop size to the 10 5/8 by 10 5/8, which is this one right here. 272 by 272. Now let's see here. What can we do? We can go to our image tab and do auto punch. And next again. That we want to create lines. So actually, let's change this down to 2 colors or 3 colors. Lost some color information. So I would have to play with this image for you in order to make that work automatically, but you can go in here and grab your shapes tool and just trace around it. Rounded rectangle with probably that rounding is going to work close. And I would change that to a running stitch and with no fill. There you go. And then you could come in and fix those rounded edges if you want. So if you want it to match mine exactly, you could go to your select point tool and move these down first of all. And that down to there. And then this in, this down, and this in. Do the same thing on the bottom. So there's that. And I would just copy and paste. But if you want to do it the enhanced way, you can go create offset lines and you could go inward. Let's preview. We need a little bit further. Let's go. Let's see what 6 does. 6 is about perfect. Click OK. So now you've got your 2. They're spaced perfectly apart. I would want number 2 to be a different color, just so you had it. That would be your base level. Where there is not a place in your manual to show you how to default your designs into opening in P Design 11. I'll give you a tip on that in just a second. So to create your covering stitch, oops, I got a little excited there. I did something different that I didn't mean to do. Fiddle-dee-dee. How do I get out of this? There we go. I don't know what I did here. There we go. All right. That was weird. You could actually grab this first piece and select it, and then you could do your Applique Wizard. So your Applique Wizard would turn it into what you wanted it to be. Remember, I had my width at 4. The density at the 6 would probably be about 110%. And there you go. I actually would not have added it to it. I should have done replace. So let me try that again. Home. Select it. Applique Wizard. We want to replace, not add. And click OK. And so that would actually give you your pieces that you want. Okay. Now, let me go and show you how to default a design to open in the P Design. So if you want your PES files to open up in P Design automatically, right mouse click on a file and choose Properties. You choose what file it opens with. So if you choose where it opens with, change, you're looking for layout and editing. Okay, so if you click more apps, you can actually look for another app on the PC. If your P Design didn't show up automatically, I'm going to show you where it is. It is in Program Files, x86, Brother, P Design 11, or whatever version you have. If you click on that folder, you should see EMBEDIT. That is what you would select. You click Open, and it will automatically change them to opening with P Design version, whatever you have. Click Apply, click OK. All right. You would like to have 2 words instead of a design and a name. You can do 2 lines of text. You can't do 2 lines of circle text unless you did 2 different circles, if that makes sense. To go to the second line of text, you just press Enter if you're doing straight line text. Okay. If there's no other questions today, I guess I'm done for the day. I am posting a BES4 class. It will, and I do not have my project up here. I didn't remember to get that out. It will be a cord wrap. It's done in BES, and you need at least a 5x7 hoop to take it. That's a size hoop that you would need to be able to do the project. It does use the scan and cut. You do not have to have a scan and cut in order to take it. You can always manually cut, but I will be showing the scan and cut portion of this. This is a half-day class, okay? It is a fee class, and it will be listed on my website. I'm doing it through StreamYard, so it will go into a private Facebook group. Once you've paid for the class, you would be admitted to that Facebook group. The supply list would be put up in that Facebook group. Also, Angela and I are going to do a basic series of embroidery classes. We will be posting that coming up. We're not committing to 1 a month, but as our schedule allows, we will add to it. We have our first one already thought up and what we want to do. I think we decided we're going to do that on the 17th of February. We will be doing that through Crowdcast. So just giving you that information. I will put up a page on my website for the BES class. My winner, I have a winner from Angela's giveaway. This would be your class that you would want to take. So if I don't see you here, I will reach out to you personally for that one. Trying to think if there's anything else I'm forgetting. No. So that's what I've got for you guys today. I will, as always, there's a lot going on in the background. There's something happening all the time around here. So keep tuned, stay tuned. That class will go up probably tomorrow on my website. Okay. We'll talk to you all later. Have a great rest of the week. See you next Tuesday. If there's something you want to learn about next week, you can always shoot me an email or private message me. Oh, wait. I do have a special guest coming up. She didn't tell me what date she picked. Karen, what date are we doing? Karen and I are going to do some rhinestones here in either next week or the week after. Not sure which. I'll let you know. Are you going to text me, Miss Karen? So she's coming back though, guys. So we'll have fun, whether it's next week or the week after. It's going to be one of the two. Not sure which. We've got to get our act together. So she's going to come on and be a guest again on this show. So we're going to love the bling. Yes, Tana, we're going to have fun with loving the bling. So she said, surprise me. I'm thinking maybe we do it on not this coming week, but the week after, Karen, so that we have a chance to get our lives together and get it together. So in 2 weeks time. So that means I have got to figure out something to do for next week. All right, guys, you all have a great rest of the week. Enjoyed it. And I shall see you next Tuesday. Bye.